Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is an overrated movie. I would even go as far as to say it's not even a good movie. At least I used to think that when I watched it a few years ago. So I decided to give it a rewatch and see if I was dumb, which I was, or is it really not that good? And honestly, it really is not that good. So here in this video, I tried to explain my problems with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Harry Potter and I want to bang my head into a stone. Now this movie pretty much follows the 3-act structure, at least it tries to, because it does quite well in the first act of the story but shatters completely in second and third. So for those of you who do not know, the 3-act structure goes something like this. When the start of the film you establish the characters, their lives, your world and everything else that will make up your story. In the second act, the situations complicate as your characters go through different emotional and physical problems and change across the whole process. And one major factor, probably the most major factor here, is the rising tension. Most film students and writers themselves will tell you that this is the hardest part of the writing process, the second act. Though I do not completely agree with that, but still it is a very important factor. Like, I'm not saying this is the Minas Tirith of your story, that if you do not have this, your story is destined to be bad. I've seen stories where the rising action or the rising tension aspect is not there and they still function very well. But the reason they manage to stay engaging is because of their interesting characters. And this movie just so happens to have some of the most boring characters that you've ever seen. We will talk about that too, so let's go. Now from the very moment the movie starts, it is filled with cliches. You know, poor little boy, parents are dead, lives with his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle are mean to him. They make him work a lot. Where have I seen that before? Or rather, where have I not seen that before? Like, I'm so tired of seeing that. So tired at this point it does not even work. It does not make me feel bad for Harry in any way. It just bores me to death. Another reason I do not feel any of this is because of this guy, Harry's uncle. If you want me to take a bully seriously movie, the last thing you do is make him an absolute goofball. Like, how do you expect me to think this guy could be a real threat to Harry? Hell, Pippin from the Lord of the Rings movies could bully the living shit out of this guy. And you want me to take him seriously? Not to mention Harry himself is an extremely uninteresting character. He has no distinct personality apart from your default good hero guy with a good heart. Nothing that sets him apart from multiple other generic fantasy protagonists. He has no goals or motivations in his life and nothing that he actually wants to accomplish. Pretty much a boring block of a character. And yet, it should not surprise you that Harry Potter just so happens to be the most interesting character in this movie. Yeah, the others are just that poorly written. The bad guys are just bad. Not because they have any reason to or they feel salty towards some characters. Nah, they're just bad. This Malfoy kid, just pretty much bad. No personality, just bad. Hermione is occasionally a little cocky and Hagrid is stupid. And that's it. Apart from that, the rest of them aren't even characters. They say things they need to for the audience to understand stuff and react when they need to. They are your default colorless characters. But still, Harry is a moderately okay protagonist. Generic but okay. So first act of the movie still works decently well until now this is my biggest grudge with the movie. And if you have watched this movie as an adult, maybe you feel the same. This movie features multiple scenes that honestly just do nothing. And maybe the big reason for that is the fact that these movies are adapted from the Harry Potter novels. And here's the thing. A novel and a movie are quite different when it comes to the structure or specifically the efficiency of the writing. When someone picks up a novel that's more than 200 pages, he expects to spend some good time on it. So novels are allowed to have sections that do nothing or maybe do very little in terms of the main plot of the story. Not that it's preferable, it is not, but it is forgivable when it's a book. With a movie though, things are not quite the same. For one thing, movies are a lot shorter than your average novel reading time, so you cannot fuck around doing random stuff with your characters. Every single scene in your story should do something to advance the story, add to the main conflict, or at least add to the characters in your story. And the best scenes in movies are occasionally the ones that do all of these things together. Now let's look at this movie. From the moment Harry gets picked up by Hagrid at around 18 minutes into the movie spends about 20 more minutes before Harry gets to Hogwarts. And what happens in those 20 minutes? Well, from a storytelling perspective, nothing much, to be honest. We learn that Voldemort killed Harry's parents and we meet Ron and Hermione. The Voldemort part barely takes a minute and the character introductions include nothing interesting about the characters. They just serve the purpose of telling you that these are these two characters. And apart from these two things, the complete time is spent on feeding you random fantasy magic elements that do not go anywhere. It's like you go to a circus and a performer keeps showing you some damn pigeons and he's like, here's a yellow pigeon, here's a red pigeon, here's a blue one if you wish. In that whole time span of the movie, we just see random bits of magic that the writers put in there to make the kids watching the movie go, whoa, that's so cool. But they actually hold no value to the story. Harry goes to the bank and we find these weird creatures. Hagrid says they're smart and dangerous and stuff and we move on.
They're goblins, Harry. Clever as they come, goblins, but not the most friendly of beasts. Best stay close.
Do these people appear ever again in the story? No. Do these people have any effect on the story? No. They are just there to look funny and show the kids, look, there are many creatures in this world. Isn't that exciting? When Harry goes to buy a wand, the guy tells him to try it randomly inside the shop, which breaks the goddamn shop to pieces. Is this how he always says these things? Does everyone who buys a wand destroy the shop a little before he finds his one wand? We are told that the wand and the bearer of it are connected. So is this guy's whole business model just randomly putting wands in people's hands and have them destroy his shop until they find the right one? Or maybe the writers did not spend enough time on this and just included the shop destruction because it is more fun to watch, without thinking if it makes any logical sense or not. Same with when Harry meets Ron in the train. They talk about the weird candies for some good time and fun stuff happens, but nothing actually substantial is happening. It is again just the writers going, look, there are these magical candies. Isn't that exciting? No, please, do something with the story for fuck's sake. There are these flying candles and invisible roof inside the ceremony room. Again, whoa, isn't that cool? Like, okay, I get it. I really get it. For some reason you feel the need to put in every single magical element that you could think of in your story without thinking if it adds to the story or not, but please stop this shameless showcase and get on with the story, please. But no, the movie still has these ghosts to show you. They fly around, make some jokes and disappear. What is their relevance to the story, you ask? Nothing, none at all. Like, it's not there. Please, movie, it has been 50 minutes. 50 long and painful minutes. I expect you will start with the story now. At least now you will give me an idea of where we are headed. At least now you will give me a slight hint of conflict. Like, there could have been so many ways to creatively explore all this stuff with some good conflict. Like, imagine we had a purpose to fulfill and then we met all these random magical people and interesting things. It could have been so much better. And the movie even does that later on when Harry uses the invisibility cloak to sneak into the library. So why couldn't the movie do that with the other magical elements? Instead, the way this movie treats it is like walking through a museum. You see interesting stuff, yes, but none of that affects anything in any way. It almost makes you think if this too was just there to make the kids excited, eh? There are these stairs that keep changing. Why? Why can't you have a normal staircase system? These look like they're insanely complicated and it would be much easier to use normal stairs. Why in the seven hells would you use something like this? Unless, yeah, you guessed it, to excite the kids. And I just realized exciting the kids, like out of context, sounds like such a weird phrase to say. Also, when the troll attacks the bathroom, Why does Hermione lie about wanting to see the troll when she could have just said she went there to use the bathroom and then the troll came in? Why this whole lying and pretending to save Harry and Ron when they clearly did not need saving? Then we reach the game time, and let me just say, what the fuck is this game? You have a clear risk of dying involved for one thing. You people claim to be magicians. Can't you have it so there's no injury when people fall off? But who cares? I guess Dumbledore's enjoyment is more important than kids dying. And why would any game be designed in a way where just one small part of the game can make you win the whole thing? If Harry catches this golden ball, which later on he does, all the effort that the other team members put in goes in the fucking trash can. What was their purpose in the game then? Not to mention the whole game thing again, like most of the story, does nothing to progress the plot of the movie forward in any meaningful way. The only thing that happens is that Snape tries to kill Peter and Hermione stops him, and we later discover that it was this doodle guy who was trying to kill him and not Snape, and he got distracted by the fire. Then maybe try to kill him again? Like, what's stopping you? If there's one thing, one lesson that anyone and everyone who's a writer or aspires to be one should take from all of this, is that everything in your story needs to have a purpose. It shouldn't be there to just be there. Think of it this way: will your story and its world be better with that specific thing, or will that thing being there make no difference? And if the answer is the latter, then you shouldn't really spend any significant amount of time on that thing. And with that, we have arrived at the ending of this story. Oh boy, the ending. More like, end me, please, for God's sake. First of all, in this chess game, why are there just 3 pieces missing? Is it because we have 3 main characters to go on? Like, we have to assume that Professor Doodle also went through this room, and how did he play this game then? He is one person, like, he's not 3 people, he's 1. And that is not equal to 3, unless that one person is your mom. But yeah, how did he play the game? And even if he did somehow play the game and won it, this game creates so much destruction. Where's all the debris, all the pieces? Did they all get magically reset? If so, why did the 3 pieces not get reset too? Or did Professor Doodle bypass the game, in which case, how is this game and its security system so weak that any teacher could bypass it? That defeats the whole purpose of the game. And why would you even have a chess game there? Like, why would you want the person who reaches the mirror to be extremely smart and good at chess? Like, how is that a parameter? Why not just have some good powerful magic system that stops everyone but Dumbledore from entering the room? This whole chess game setup alone falls apart entirely when you think about it for more than 3 complete seconds. But apparently someone in the writer's room did not. They just included it because it is cool. It sounds very fantasy-like to have a human chess. And just a side note, I'm referring to the writers as writers and not just J.K. Rowling in this video, because I have not read the books and I do not exactly know which of these decisions were made by J.K. Rowling herself and which of them were altered by the screenwriters. Leaving the chess mess aside, this whole climax of Voldemort getting extremely close to getting the red stone happens just because Harry Potter is dumb enough to go there at the right time. If Harry and his dumb friends did not go to this place, Professor Doodle would just return after banging his head into the mirror a little. Voldemort needs to use Harry to get the stone and boom, Harry is there. How convenient is that? When the professor is about to kill Harry, he's just about to kill Harry. Harry touches him and his face burns. The guy dies, flat out dies. And this thing just, again, came out of nowhere. Have you ever heard of setup and payoff movie? Like something like Chekhov's gun. How if you're going to use something important in the end of your story, you should establish that first. If you're going to fire a gun in the 3rd act of the movie, you should show that gun in the 1st act. And now you might say that Harry having the special powers and being able to survive was a setup when Hagrid told him about his history. And let's just say that was a setup. Good or not, let's just say it was a setup. How does Harry magically burning this man's face not completely erase any sense of danger or real threat to him in near future. Because anytime someone is close to Harry and is about to kill him or harm him in any way, he can just touch the man and burn him to death. Wow. And then the movie ends. The movie ends making me feel completely exhausted and tired. And I have watched some long movies in my life, but man, this thing feels like an absolute slog to get through. And I know by this point I have made you completely lose your calm, and if you are a Harry Potter fan, you probably are planning to kidnap my cat and threaten me to delete my channel, but I'm sorry dude, like I want to enjoy this movie. I want to enjoy it when I put 3 hours of my life into it. Like, my friends were rewatching it before the event and I wanted to rewatch it too. I wanted to watch the whole series. Like, I could be rewatching The Dark Knight right now, but no, I decide to watch this. So, I want to like it. It's just that I don't, and these were the reasons that I don't. I hope you do understand that. If you like and enjoy these movies, cool. I do not hate you. To be honest, I envy you a little because I wish I could enjoy this too. But at the end of the day, art is subjective. So yeah, this was my reasoning for why I think the Harry Potter and the Red Stone movie is overrated. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comment section. Subscribe and I will see you guys soon. Bye.